Hi there, my name is Kaylin and this is Full Purpose in Heart. If you are new here, welcome. This is a homeschooling channel where I talk about my homeschooling journey and share with you what curriculum I'm using and ideas of how to teach your own little kiddos at home. So if you're interested or if you've just stopped by and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so you can follow along on our homeschooling journey. This video, I'm going to be reviewing the curriculum that I selected for our first grader. Now, if you are new here and you don't know, back in July, or I guess it was about a year ago, so March or April, I did our selection video where I showed all of the items and curriculum that I had selected for our first grade year. And then throughout the year, I do our Homeschool Life series where every couple of weeks I update on how the curriculum is working real time and the struggles I'm having with it and that sort of thing. So now at the end of this school year, we have about 6 weeks left of school. I have a pretty good idea of what the curriculum offers and how it worked or did not work for my family. So that's what this video is. It's just a compilation of all of my previous videos put into one place so that if you're trying to select curriculum for your first grader, then you're going to be able to see what my perspective is on it. So a couple of things before we get started. Number one, I'm going to try to be relatively brief as I share with you. So I'm not going to do any flip throughs of this curriculum. You'll need to go back through my channel. I'll try to put some in the eye in the sky, maybe in the description box below there. So there won't be any flip throughs. If there's a specific subject that you're wanting to know about over all of them, then I'll try to break it up throughout the video so that you can kind of fast forward on the bottom of the YouTube screen there, and then you can follow the thumbnail and kind of see when I have a new section. So hopefully that'll kind of help break up the subjects so that if you're looking for one subject in particular, then you can fast forward the video to those particular subjects and get my review for those materials, okay? Also, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll try to be relatively brief, but I can't promise you how long this is going to be. So you might want to sit back and get some cozy blanket and a little snack because we might be here for a while. Okay, curriculum review videos. I'm going to go subject by subject. So subject number one is going to be our gospel study, or what many people call Bible study. So for our gospel study this year, I have selected to use, this is a Come Follow Me is the name of this curriculum. It's produced by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A couple of positive things that I love about it. Number one, it's very inexpensive. So among all Bible curriculums that I've thumbed through and looked through, I really appreciated the price tag on this. It's very, very inexpensive. Number two, it's comprehensive of the New Testament. And I enjoyed that a lot because I felt like a lot of curriculums were kind of touching on some subjects or some stories of Jesus, but weren't fully comprehensive about it. So I really loved that about this curriculum. And it is a full year. So we will continue to use this curriculum through our summer schooling as well as when we begin second grade. So you will be seeing this curriculum again in my upcoming videos when I talk about selections that I'm choosing and future Homeschool Life video series. So if you haven't seen this, now I'm going to kind of give a little disclaimer here. It is produced by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but that does not mean you have to be a member of the church to really appreciate and gain value out of this curriculum. The content of this resource is the New Testament, and you can use your own Bible. So whatever version of the Bible that you choose to use, it works perfectly with this curriculum. And the way that it's set up is it just asks, I know I said I wasn't going to do a look through because it's going to take up too much time, but just in case you've never seen it before. So they have like the scripture of study here on the top, and they kind of like put a little title page on it. They just have a place where you can put some thoughts, and then they break it down by subject of how you can teach it. This is actually, now that I'm looking at it, this is the primary version. I know there's a glare on that. This is the for primary version. So for younger kids, and it just kind of shows anyway, I'm trying to do this as a really last minute look through, but just so that you can see, they break it down on how you can teach it. They have some teaching examples, and then they have it for older children as well, okay? So it's really great, and then at the end of each unit, then they'll have like a little printable that you can use just as a resource for that. This is the one for individuals and families. This is a standalone curriculum that you don't need any other supplemental materials, although in a moment I'll share which ones that I used. But these are broken up the same way. So let me show you just kind of an example here. This is John chapter 1, so the passages from John chapter 1. It has like a quick little synopsis on here, and then it's kind of built out the same way where it just gives you some content or like, you know, blocks of scripture that you study, and then some ideas for teaching your family here at the bottom, okay? So it's really great. Oh, and then they have really fantastic pictures for each of the weeks. And it's broken down into weeks, so there's 52 weeks of lesson content, and it's just super, super, super great. And I just saw a really great picture that I was like, oh, I should show that picture, but oh, here we go. See, just really great pictures that are in this manual. Okay, so the other thing I was going to share quickly is that you can get some really awesome supplemental material to help teaching with this curriculum that I used. One was the Redheaded Hostess, redheadedhostess.com, and she has some great printable, I think she's a little bit expensive. She's a little more pricey than some of the other selections that I am going to give you in a minute, but her images or her like illustrations are just so darling, and she's very comprehensive in creating great lesson aids that you can add to your weekly lessons. So the second one that I really love was loveprayteach.com, or maybe it's Teach Pray Love. I always get them mixed up. But she has also some really great additional lesson plans and content that I picked up at the beginning of the year. I will say that for her, about the middle of the year or the middle of March is when her lesson content kind of got a little bit simplified for my liking. I wanted more colored pictures. I wanted more activities. And I felt like when she put it together, it felt a little bit rushed in the sense that there wasn't as much content as there was in the first beginning bundles that you can purchase. So that's just kind of my little take on her there, but I think that she does a really good job. And then the third one is called gospelgrabbag.com, and she's got a plethora of really fantastic kind of like game ideas type pieces, so that they're all printable, so you just print it off, and it has like Jesus's feet, and then you talk about different ways that you can follow Christ's footsteps in your actions and your behaviors and your choices and that sort of thing. Or tulips because you're planting a garden, or I don't know. She's just got a lot of really great ideas that then you can weave in the Word of God and talk about them with manipulatives, which is great for my kiddos because they love like hands-on, printables and that sort of thing. So anyway, nothing but great things to say about this curriculum, and I will be using it for our second grade year. It's great for all ages. Obviously, they've built it to be church-wide, so it's good for adults, for youth, for old and young of all ages. So that's been a really great resource. Check the description box below for all of these resources that I'm sharing with you, and I'll put links where you can purchase them, okay? All right, subject number 2, let's talk about science. All right, so my science is going to be a really brief section because I don't have a whole lot to say. If you watched the beginning of my year video, you know that I selected to use the Good and the Beautiful Space Science Unit is what we started our school year with, and I made this Space Science Journal. I'll drop in here really quick. This is still available for those of you who have wanted it or download it or have never heard of it before. Check that video link because I did kind of a look through of this Space Science Journal that I made to go along with the unit, and it's still free, but it's on Teachers Pay Teachers now because the website platform I was using, it was difficult to monetize in that way and make it free and yada, 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 because it was, anyway, long story. That's where you can purchase this. But my 2 cents for this, we use this, we probably did half of the curriculum And in the end, I kind of put it aside because I just got a little bored with it, is the truth, I guess. I felt like the curriculum was mostly words. You had to just read. I was reading a lot to my student. And even though I had the workbook or the science journal that we were following up with, for the bulk part of our subject study that day, I felt like all I was doing was just reading these really lengthy stories with him. And it was getting I was getting super disinterested myself, which made my son disinterested, and I just wasn't overly enthused by it. In talking about it over the course of the school year, a lot of my followers were giving me ideas or thoughts like, I think that this is better suited for older students to teach to an older student, and then have your younger students around so that they can kind of pick up little morsels when the bulk of the content is geared toward your older student. So the curriculum is written for K through 6th grade, but I think that the older your student is, the more that they can get out of the curriculum. As a 1st grader, I just didn't feel like it was, I don't know, interesting enough. It was just mostly memorize the planets and then read this passage, and then I created the journal, so do your journal page or whatever. So I don't know, I wasn't super enthralled by it, and then we never finished it, and because of that, I never went on to the second unit that I purchased, which was health. It's still sitting in my closet, and I never touched it because I just couldn't dive into it. I was super disinterested with it. So that's how I feel about the Good and the Beautiful. I then picked up this resource. This is from Evan Moore. And I also did, let me get you my other one, this one. So we did BJU Press and Evan Moore STEM science units, and we kind of did them together for about 3 weeks. To be honest. What happened, I don't know. It just kind of got pushed off the shelf. The beginning of this unit or this course of study was like your 5 senses, I believe, and I just immediately was checked out of it because we studied 5 senses in preschool and in kindergarten, and rather than just like bypassing it and moving to the next unit, which I may have done because the next unit I think was weather, I don't know, it just didn't happen. So I can't say a lot about it, whether or not I loved it or not, but I will say I did a look through, so you can check out that video if you want to look through this book, and I love the way that it's laid out, and I love other BJU Press subjects. So I think that I probably would have loved this if I had taken the time to actually build out unit studies for my kiddo and made actual curriculum or like an actual lesson plan for it, but it just kind of died before we even really got started. So I'm considering maybe trying to use this for our upcoming 1st grader, which won't be for another few years, but it's a great resource. I just didn't ever get into it. So anyway, that's all I have to say about science. Not really a whole lot happened on our science front, so we're looking into what we're going to do for 2nd grade, which I haven't figured out yet. All right, let's move on to math. Okay, math is going to be super brief, mostly because I've only used one math curriculum, so I can't compare it to anything, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So we are using, this is Horizons Math. We did book 1 and book 2, and it's just been great. I have no problems with it. I really like, first of all, that it's cyclical or rotating, or I don't know what that word is that they use. I feel like maybe I should look it up so that I can say it right. But anyway, you start one subject, you kind of go around, and then you go back to it. And anyway, so you learn the subjects over and over, as opposed to like a mastery model, which is a lot of subjects or a lot of curriculums out there are a mastery model. I really like that. I love the pace of it. I love that the pages are colored. So you have a lot of, visual appealing aspect to it. I love that it's only 1 page front and back. I love that the tests are incorporated in the curriculum, so you don't have to buy a separate book or a separate resource to kind of check your students' progress. Anyway, so I really love Horizons. We're going to be using it again for second grade, so I don't have anything negative to say. Now, again, I will say I haven't used any other curriculum, so I don't have anything to compare it to. Why fix something that's not broken is kind of my motto, and this has been working great for us, so we're going to move forward with that. All right, let's move on to history. All right, so we started our history school year with Heritage Studies. This is another Bob Jones University publication, or the BJU Press, and I love this curriculum. I love it. And I was a history teacher when I taught public school for 7 years, and so history is just my passion, and I love how this curriculum was laid out. Now, I think I did a look through the book in this as well, so I'll try to link that. If I didn't, then maybe I need to do that, because this has been a really great resource for us. And we're finishing up the last chapter now, and that is such a good feeling to know that we've covered all of the material in it. I love the pacing of it. I love that it does have a little sprinkling of God and how God is involved in all of that, but it's not like really in your face necessarily. So it's easy to pull out if you're interested in pulling out. It's easy to add to if you really want to develop it a little bit more from what your faith perspective is. And it's just, I've really, really enjoyed it. Plus, there's been a lot of really fun kind of resources that I've been able to supplement into this curriculum. So, we built Jamestown, and there was something from Evan Moore about Plymouth, or life in the Plymouth colony, I think it was called. So we're doing that right now, and it's just been really a fun little resource for us. So I really love this. I also made this. It looks identical, but I did make it, and this was just like a little activity book that I actually made. I didn't buy BJU Press's activity book because I felt like it was really too young, I guess you could say. It just was, the questions didn't seem like they were age appropriate, I guess, for where my student was. So I just made my own, and I say it like, oh, it's no big deal. I just made my own. It did take several hours of my life, but it turned out really good, and anyway, we had a good time with that, and it's been a really great resource. I would highly recommend this. I'll throw in at the end here, we did not use the distance learning. I taught it to him, but the distance learning is available, and if you want to look into that, then of course, that's an option for you as well. Okay. In addition to history, we did some geography. We started with this daily geography. We finished up with beginning geography. These are both Evan Moore products. Daily geography was great in the beginning, but I felt towards the end it got kind of repetitive and super duper easy. So it's meant to be like, one activity per day, but my student was doing it in the course of one day, sometimes 2 days. He would sometimes put it off a little bit and do it on the second day, but he would always finish it before the end of our school week. We have a 4-day school week here in our home. So anyway, it got to be super easy and a little bit repetitive. So we jumped over to beginning geography, which is a book that you have to duplicate the pages out of. So just by sheer busyness, I guess you could say, I kind of stopped copying these pages. And I didn't feel like they were as lengthy, I guess, or there wasn't as much covering any given topic as there was in this daily geography book. So, or not as many questions, maybe is a better way to say it. So, for example, you would talk about an erupting volcano. Is that this page? This page? An erupting volcano, but then that's the only page that you talk about volcanoes, because then the next page you're jumping into deserts and plains. So I appreciated the, continual whatever, going over of maps and concepts and whatever in this page, in this book. I just wish we could blend both of them a little bit better, but you get what you get, I guess. I'm not going to write my own geography curriculum this year, but it's got some really great reproducible pages if you're just looking for some stuff to reproduce for your student and throw in some additional geography practice. It's a good book for that, and I we liked it. So anyway, that's what we did for geography. All right, now for the big English subject. I'm going to try to cover this. I don't know how it'll go, but here we go. All right, so our English subject has been quite a bit of a roller coaster. If you have been following it all, then this is not new news to you. But English, in my definition of English, it's going to include spelling, handwriting, phonics, and reading is what the English subject or language arts subject covers in our home right now. So we started with a phonics and reading program. This is just like a set curriculum. This is from Horizons. I used Horizons for his kindergarten year, so we just continued forward with that. And after the first, I don't even remember, maybe 6 weeks or maybe a little more, maybe a little less, somewhere in there, we stopped using this because I just felt like it was too fast. It never really reviewed the new phonics rules soon enough before they jumped into another phonic rule. And in first grade, you really learn some pretty doozy phonics rules. English gets to be pretty crazy. And so learning these phonics rules, I felt like I needed more time in between the new concepts before they introduced something else. And I don't know, it just wasn't happening. I was overwhelmed. My student, I don't know if he felt one way or another about it, but it just wasn't fitting into our school day as well. So I boxed it all up again, hence the rubber bands, because I rip all my pages out. If you've watched my videos, then maybe you know. But anyway, so I've got them all in here. And some positives about this that I do like in looking at other curriculum options is that all of the tests are included as a part of the curriculum, just like the Horizons math is. So you just turn the pages and then the tests kind of come in, as opposed to having to buy a separate resource. On the BJU Press curriculum, those publishers make it a separate purchase to have tests as a part of the unit. But I like the review that comes on a test. So, and I use the term test loosely, but we can talk about that in another video someday else. But anyway, so we started with this, we put this aside, and then from there I had to kind of put some stuff together. So here's some stuff that I got. We got vocabulary fundamentals, and this has been a really good resource. Although it's not phonics based, it is English rule based, I guess you could say. So we cover things like rhyming words, compound words, antonyms, synonyms, homophones, and then there's some games in the back. Oh, and prefixes. So that's been kind of a nice, introduction to those types of vocabulary words. We've also done this spell and write, which has had some English components like how to write a sentence and what are verbs and what are nouns. So I have liked this as well. I will say that I feel like our English language arts subject has got a lot of holes in it because I've kind of pieced things together. And whether or not it does, I don't know. Maybe I just feel that way because I didn't have a publisher send me everything and then I would have the confidence and satisfaction knowing that a publisher gave me everything that I needed. So my feelings might be stemmed from that. But overall, these were really the two main English structure things that I did for us this year. We didn't really do phonics so much this year, and I think that my son's spelling is suffering because of it. I didn't learn to spell by phonics. I learned to spell by memorization. So I have some plans for next year to kind of try to hit that a little bit better. As far as spelling is concerned, we started with this. This was a curriculum I purchased from Teachers Pay Teachers. I couldn't even tell you the shop now. Double Dose of Learning is what it has on here. So each month you printed off this little page and you glued on these tabs, and I was really enamored by the cuteness of it all. It was very darling, but I'm going to say by October, I think was the last month, maybe November was the last month that I made one of these for my son, because I felt like the spelling words were never getting harder and he wasn't necessarily learning them Well, I guess that's not true. He usually did a pretty good job on the tests, and he really liked the activities. So maybe his spelling actually was better with this. I don't remember. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, actually, maybe his spelling was a little bit better now than it was now. But the words were super duper easy, and I didn't think it was really like a first grade level. I think it was a kindergarten level. So if you're looking at this, I would recommend using this curriculum for a kindergarten level and maybe even like mid kindergarten, and then you don't have to worry about the difficulty level not being enough for your students. So that's where my spelling was then. So I switched over to Explode the Code and Spell and Write, I guess. I think I might have picked up, that's geography. I think I might have picked up both of these at about the same time. So Spell and Write is a curriculum based around a set of spelling words. I think there are 7 spelling words per week, and then they integrate English concepts in those spelling words. So you write a story and use these spelling words, kind of an idea. So I used that, and then we used Explode the Code as well. Now, Explode the Code is based on, chunking, I guess. They kind of use small little chunks of words, and then they try to get you to spell different types of words using that phonics chunk. And I don't know what to say about this. I'm thumbing through the book, I'm sorry. I really liked the curriculum, and so I went ahead and I bought the 4th and the 5th book, but I don't think that my son is learning how to spell from it. I think he's just filling in the blanks, for lack of a better explanation, because then we'll go and do the spelling test at the end, and he'll spell almost all of the words wrong. He goes to his default spelling habits, so he just sounds it out, and he thinks, well, this sound is spelled this way, so this must be how you spell the word. So it hasn't really taught him how to spell, I don't think. But I have enjoyed using it, and I think that it teaches him vocabulary. I think he's learning different words and what they mean, so that's been a benefit. But as far as like a spelling curriculum, I don't think that it's really been great. It is say that they're essential lessons from phonics mastery, but I'm not sure that that's what my son is getting out of it. So I don't know what to say about that. Is that a positive review or a negative review? I'm not sure, but I do like it, and I recommended it to my friend actually just the other day, saying this has been a really great, just kind of a writing and introduction to words and kind of a thing. So I don't know. That's what I have to say about that. Handwriting, we did a reason for handwriting. I do like this, but I'm not really sure. Again, I don't think my son just likes copy work very much. So he'll do the bare minimum. I think his handwriting has improved slightly, but I'm not sure if it's just because he likes to write. So the sheer repetition of writing his own stories has improved his handwriting, or if it's a reason for handwriting. But I have enjoyed it, and I think it's good. I probably will do it again next year, just because I think that he needs that continual practice of how to make the letters. Make sure that they're the right sizes, make sure that those that have tails, and those that are above the line, and that sort of thing. The difference between capital and lowercase. So, or the size-wise, he knows how they look, obviously. But anyway, so I have enjoyed this, but I'm not sure. I think it's kind of a little bit of a fluff work, if you will. There's other curriculums out there that integrate this handwriting concept as a part of their curriculum. For example, Horizons did that. If I was continuing with Horizons, I probably wouldn't be making my son do a reason for handwriting. But I picked this up, I think, after I stopped using Horizons. I think I must have picked this up. So anyway, this is what we used, and I think it's a great start for handwriting, but I'm not sure. I don't know. It's good. It's good is what I have to say about that, okay? My last little bit we'll talk about is reading. Now, in my last update video that I posted a couple weeks ago, I was talking about my struggle with getting my kiddo to read independently, and so that's kind of been a little ebb and flow. But as far as read alouds, we've read Huckleberry Finn this year, and it was a really fun read. We did do the lap book that's provided by Confessions of a Homeschooler, but I didn't finish the lap book because as a first grader, I felt like it was my lap book and not my son's lap book. I was doing the handwriting because his letters were too large to fit into the little mini books. I was doing the coloring. I was cutting it out. I think he colored most of them, but I was cutting them out. I was pasting them into the book just to make sure that they all fit. So as a first grader, the lap book wasn't necessarily level appropriate. I think that as we start second grade, then maybe he'll be a little bit more apt to doing that. But really, it might be like a mom issue because I just really love making lap books look pretty. So I probably have to get over that before I try to get him interested in it. But anyway, we did this one. I had planned to read, sorry about that, Gulliver's Travels. We never got into it, so maybe we'll pick this up. But we actually started reading The Boxcar Children, and we've been reading that as an read aloud together as a family, and my son loves them. He is constantly like, read one more chapter, and we'll blow through 5 or 6 chapters a day. I'll read out loud to him for like an hour when we do read aloud, so he really has enjoyed those books. I just purchased a whole set of the Magic Treehouse books, so I'm assuming we're probably going to get started on those soon because I don't have all of the Boxcar Children books like I do for the other ones. So anyway, that is a very quick synopsis of all of the curriculum that we used and how I felt about it and why I switched out or switched in and that sort of thing. So hopefully it gave you kind of a good feeling of how I felt about it. If there was any curriculum that you would like me to do a look through that I haven't done before, make sure you put that in the comments below. You might want to check my preview and reviews playlist. It has a lot of these curriculums that I talked about in this video. I have done a look through for because I know that for me, I want to be able to see more than just the first 5 or 10 pages. Sometimes the publishers will have really good look throughs, but sometimes I just want to see more than what the publisher offers. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you found this useful. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't done so already because we're moving into our second grade year and I will have all of my curriculum videos for second grade coming up in the next upcoming videos. It is curriculum time, so that's always really fun to get ready for your new school year. Also, if you want to hit that bell so that as those curriculum videos come through, you'll make sure that you get notification. I don't post a lot of videos. I'm not, twice a week or anything crazy like that. But if you are on the curriculum hunt, it might be helpful to have some input from a seasoned homeschooler who, I use seasoned very loosely. I have taught a couple of years of homeschool and many years of public school. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in and we'll catch you in another video.